Okay, I think I'm comfortable now. Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of Dr. Sill's Intern Diaries. That's starting to get very cringy. Anyway, I'm Sill, I'm a junior doctor working in Sydney, Australia, and in this video series, I just reflect on my time as a junior doctor, talk about the pros and the cons and the stresses and the nice parts and all those kinds of things to share the experience of what it's like to be a junior doctor. It is a unique time in someone's life when they start internship. You really switch from being this student with not much responsibility and free time in a weird way to not even that much free time. What am I saying? You don't have that much free time as a student, but you don't have responsibility. But then you switch from that to a lot of responsibility and more free time, because when you're not at work, you have free time, as opposed to when you're a student and you always have to study. Anyway, crazy times. I'm going to reflect about that. And in this week's video, I'm going to talk about a couple of things from this week, which was a very unique week. It was unique because this was the first week where I was alone on the wards and I was the intern. The week before, I had the previous term's intern with me for the whole week, so it was a buddying week, which is this new thing, which is great because you're very well supported for a week before starting. And essentially the responsibility is very diffused, and so whenever you have questions you can ask. But this week it was all me as an intern, and there are obviously other doctors in the team, but due to rostering I was alone on Monday, which was the first day. And I guess that's where I want to start this reflective discussion. It was my first day alone and I had to discharge a patient. And I work in a mental health rehabilitation unit, which means discharges are very different to other medical teams. You have to organise heaps of social supports. You need to organise their clinic appointments, their GP appointments, their case managers. You have to do a lot of these things, which I didn't know anything about because we didn't discharge anyone in the previous week. Because it's a rehab unit, discharges are quite rare and require a bit of work. So the set of bloods that he got just before being discharged, this patient, were abnormal. And so threw everything into a whirl, and I had to do all these repeat blood tests and other tests to make sure that everything was fine, which everything was fine. But the point is, on my first day, it was very stressful because I was alone and I had to do all this discharge stuff that I'd never done before. But really, it's not hard stuff. It's just lots of stuff. So it was a lot of phone calls and emails in the course of one day. And I kind of just went home feeling like, how am I going to do the rest of this week? But on Tuesday, there was a registrar there. They were very busy, so I still had to do a lot of stuff independently. But as the week progressed, because it was a new term, the senior doctors and the teams were busy doing other things, but then by week's end, everything is stabilized. And now I feel much better about next week. And this is something that interns have told me over and over again. The first week is the hardest. And then once you pass that learning curve, things stabilize. And that's kind of the sense I'm getting. But yeah, just this crazy shift in responsibility from being a student to a doctor, which I love because I've been a student for so long. And when you do medicine, it's such a future-centric thing. You're always saying, all right, I'm going to pass these exams. And then the second you pass a set of exams, you're thinking about the next exams. And the second you finish those exams, you're thinking about internship. And the second you finish internship, you're thinking about training programs. And the second you're on a training programs, you're thinking about where you're going to be a consultant. And the second you're being a consultant, you're thinking about research. And it's always the next step that you're thinking about. But I do these videos and I have a philosophy that, you have to enjoy the journey. Future centrism is not a very healthy thing. So I'm just saying that I really enjoy this sense of responsibility that I've been given as an intern to do what many people think is very boring, which is essentially the logistics of ward and care, like ward duties and care duties for patients, organizing scans, getting blood tests, talking to nurses, talking to staff, talking to allied health, the logistical stuff. But also on the medical side of things, I'm the one who's reviewing the patients. I'm also working in a team of part-time people. So I'm the only full-time employee on the entire team. So I'm the source of consistency and information, which is a lot of information, which is a lot of responsibility for me. I don't feel qualified to be that, but that's the way it's set up. So there is like those kind of medical things which are important, but there's also a lot of admin / logistical things. Why am I doing that? Sorry. There's also the logistical things that I am also in charge of. So I'm really happy. I've every day I've left, even if it's been a little bit later than when I meant to leave, I've left with it like this kind of like, yeah, I've achieved something today sense. I'm sure that'll wear off. I'm sure I'll become a cynic by the end of the year or whatever. But right now I'm feeling really good. And that leads into the next point I wanted to talk about, which was at the week's end. So today's Saturday, and on Friday when I got home, I really, this doesn't happen to me often, but I just had a really nice sense of pride. And I don't like pride. Well, I don't know if I don't like pride, but it's not a big, pride doesn't play a big role in my life. I don't see its utility, and it usually is associated with arrogance. I think it's fine to think that you're good at something, but the second you think you're the best at something, you know, you're being nonsensical or illogical. And I don't like comparing myself to others. I like comparing myself to myself. And there's a very nice quote, which is, you should compare yourself to yourself yesterday. And that kind of talks about, you know, that leads to the 1% improvements every day kind of philosophy. Anyway, all that to say that pride doesn't play a big role in my life. However, I did have that nice sense of like, I can fucking do this. And that was really nice. And it was quite emotional. It was the sense that you get when you go to a new city and you're traveling and it all feels overwhelming, but then you kind of settle into the new city and you're like, okay, I can like see this working for me. It's a really unique experience. You don't get that often in life, but it's quite a beautiful thing to feel. Whenever, and I think, I have never even thought about this before, but maybe once a month or even once a year, you will get these emotional experiences that there's not a word in the dictionary for. And I really think those are really beautiful things that you need to savor. And so when they come, my advice to you is just to stop everything you're doing and then just savor the emotional feeling and physical feelings that are associated with that emotion. But you know what I mean? Like, emotions are associated with physical feelings. So that was the nice part of the week. The not so nice part of the week was I've now starting to find myself in very ethically difficult situations clinically, where, you know, misinformation has been spread and I've got pressure on me to correct it, but it would be in conflict with what someone else has said and I don't want to rock the boat and that kind of thing. I obviously can't comment specifically on cases because I don't want to say anything that's identifiable by patients or staff, but I'm now finding myself in tricky situations. And psychiatry is full of ethically complicated situations. Like one of the core components of psychiatry is the Mental Health Act, which is all about capacity and insight. And if someone, doesn't have capacity or insight, then you're saying what's best for someone else. And that's pretty, that can be abused and has been abused in the past, especially you can imagine in totalitarian societies where people who disagree with the government could be deemed as psychotic or something by the Psychiatrist Association or something. I don't know if I'm ready for that kind of responsibility, but I'm trying to learn as much as I can about it. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. So far, so good in internship. Highly recommend it. If you enjoy this kind of videos, make sure you check out the other Dr. Sills Intern Diaries videos, and you can leave this video a like. That really helps me, and even subscribe to the channel if you like. But other than that, I wish you all a wonderful day and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.